Welcome everyone to this second video in this series on implementing unfamiliar project stories. In the first video, we examined the methodology that we're going to be using in this series. We stressed the necessity of knowing 1. Platform components, their function, as well as their relation to one another. And 2. Baseline application functionality, so that we know whether to create a new configuration record or modify an existing one. And also which record type is best. And maybe we don't need to do anything at all because the requirement is already implemented. The implementation in this video is the following. As a user group manager, I need to edit my own group records so that I can change the description and hourly rate on demand. So let's apply our methodology. Platform components. What platform components can be used to implement write access to records? Hopefully you already know the answer. Access controls. Great. We've answered the first question. 2. Baseline functionality. What write access controls currently exist for the user group table? Let's first of all review the documentation. We can see that to create group records or to add group members, we need to have the user_admin role. But we only want to give managers write access to their own groups, and granting the user admin role may be too much of a security risk. There is no other information on the permissions needed for write access in the documentation, so we'll need to review the access controls directly in the instance. I find the quickest way to view ACLs is just to open up the relevant lists from that table and go to Configure Table and then scroll down to the Access Controls list. And here we've got 25 access controls. Now we're only interested to see the right one, so let's filter the list. Now we see there are 3 .none access controls, but also some wildcard and field access controls. We definitely need a .none access control to grant write access to the table, because without assigning these, no one will have access. So let's view those first. Now there's only one for the user admin role. Now we understand the current security controls for this table. And here it's better to create a separate access control to create one specifically for group managers. So we create a new access control. And I'll go ahead and log on as the group manager. And look, the test fails. Why? It's the presence of this wildcard access control rule. All fields are governed by this ACL. We have access to the table, but once in, no access to any of the fields in it. So we need another access control for managers. So let's go ahead and create one. We test it again, and now it works. Our story has been implemented. In this simple example, we used our platform knowledge to determine that the security permission needed should be implemented through access controls. Further, we made an assessment of the current write access controls we have on the groups table and what they do. And this allowed us to determine we needed 2 access controls, one for the table and the other to grant write access to the fields in that table. In the next video, we'll take a look at how you can actually circumvent access controls and give users who only need irregular access the ability to create records in a table.